Medyo madilim lang. Dilim ba? Dilim ako. Okay, so start tayo with the individual taxpayers. So mahalaga yan to know what is your taxpayer classification, no? Para malaman natin what are those sources of income that you are subject to income tax, no? By the Bureau of Internal Revenue. I think nagre-record na tayo na, right? Okay, start tayo on the next slide. So references muna tayo. Yan. Ilabas ko na lahat. So this is based on chapter 2, which is individual taxpayers by Sir Enrico Tabag. Income Taxation 2024 edition. So lahat ng malalaman nyo dito is updated na with the Ease of Paying Taxes Act and other revenue regulations recently from, I guess, from 2021, 2022, 2023 up to 2024. After we discuss chapter 2 individual taxpayers, maybe on the next recorded video, we will discuss income tax credit and optional standard deductions. Okay? And also by Philippine Income Tax by Attorney De Vera and Llamado, which we will discuss the same thing, no? Income tax on individuals. So this is entirely based on RA 8424, which is the National Internal Revenue Code of 1998, or also known as the Tax Code. The Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Law, which is still 2018. Yeah, year 2018, RA 10963 is a paying taxes 2024, and we will also discuss some rules coming from the Commission on Audit and the Civil Service Commission. No? So remember on this recorded video, no? So no copyright infringement is intended under the fair use of copyrighted works. So this is exclusively used for the purpose of teaching, no? So any contents or sample problems to be shared, I do not own or claim the rights, no? Para safe tayo. Okay. So start tayo. Next, classification of income taxpayers. Always remember, if we're talking about individual taxpayers, they are natural persons. So ibig sabihin tayo ay nabubuhay. I think with both BSA and BSMA students that I have here sa ating meeting, in this recorded meeting, na natural persons are actually persons, no? The human person, unlike juridical persons like businesses named in a partnership or a corporation structure, juridical persons ang tawag doon, no? And it's a different classification kapag siya ay corporation. Kapag naman siya ay individual, we have mainly 5. Pero nakikita nyo 4. Kasi sineperate ko na ang non-resident alien into 2. So mainly we have, I think may magjo-join pa. Oo, okay. I'm not sure kung naririnig yung notification if may nag-join. But anyway, resident citizens, non-resident citizens, resident alien, and non-resident alien. So I put a suffix after non-resident alien kasi para alam nyo na dapat ang classification ng NRA should be 2. Hindi pwedeng vague, no? Or hindi natin alam whether it is engaged in trade or business or not engaged in trade or business. So medyo updated tayo based for the purpose of responsive tax administration under section 21B of the tax code of the Ease of Paying Taxes Act, or EOPTA. We have actually 4. No, we have micro, small, medium, and large. This is based on businesses. Kasi tandaan nyo, businesses or rather individuals can register as businesses. No, hindi lang siya solely for partnerships and corporations. You can actually register your business as a sole proprietorship or mainly as an individual taxpayer. So remember this, no? Moving forward, especially kapag tayo filing ng tax form, always remember if you're an individual, always put your last name and first name, no? Even though you have your business name. No, you have a business name registered sa DTI, you still need to put your last name and first name under the Bureau of Internal Revenue kapag tayo magfa-file ng tax form. No? Pero wag masyado tayong excited. We just need to know ano ba ang pinagkaiba between RC or resident citizen sa non-resident citizen, between citizens, resident aliens at sa non-resident aliens. And what are those two non-resident aliens? Okay? So, maganda after this session, pwedeng yung questions afterwards. So, I will entertain questions, no? Especially dun sa magchat-chat or magko-comment. Okay? Next time. Yan. So there are individual taxpayers. So citizens of the Philippines. So resident citizen. Okay? Or Filipino citizen for that matter. So pinakaunang section in the Article 4 of the 1987 Constitution. Ano ba yung number 1? Who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of adoption of the 1987 Constitution? So, citizen na sila before noong na-adopt yung 1987 Constitution. Hindi lang siya at that time, no? Even before. Kung katulad naging citizen ka mainly because dito ka pinanganak. I'm not sure of the old revisions of the old constitution, mainly in the 1935 or in the 1973 Constitution. Pero hindi siya katulad sa Amerika or any other countries. Kasi dun sa number 2, this is mainly what qualifies as being a resident citizen of the Philippines, whose fathers and or mothers are citizens of the Philippines. I think any of your parents or both of your parents are Filipino citizens. That's why you is a Filipino citizen. No, hindi katulad ng number 1, pwede kasing maybe on the old revisions, nagkaroon ng first naturalization na mainly by birth. Kasi tandaan nyo, in the United States, you can acquire citizenship by birth. No? 'Di ba? Dito sa Pilipinas, hindi. Okay? Katulad ni na Alice Guo. So si Alice Guo is not a Filipino citizen. No? Even though, pwedeng sabihin niyang pinanganak siya sa Bamban Tarlac, pero kung ang his father and his his tuloy, naging lalaki. Her father and her mother is not a Filipino citizen, then she is not a Filipino citizen. Okay? Number 3, born before January 17, 1973 of Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizenship upon reaching age of majority. I think dun sa old law, maybe at the age of majority, you may elect whether you will be a Filipino citizen or not at that date, January 17, 1973. No? And number 4, naturalized in accordance with the law. Tandaan nyo, when it comes to naturalization, kailangan in-apply mo siya. Nag-apply ka of Filipino citizenship. Hindi pwede kasi under the naturalization process, even though hindi ko nilagay siya sa presentation, you may qualify for a Filipino citizenship if you have stayed here in the Philippines at least 10 years and can speak English or Filipino or even Spanish. So nadala yan up to the 1987 Constitution. Pero hindi ibig sabihin, katulad ni Alice Guo, nagstay siya dito since childhood. No? If hindi siya nag-apply ng naturalization, no, granted by the Congress, applied, no, hindi siya qualified to be a Filipino, no? Filipino citizen. She may be a resident. Ano ba yung resident? Dito ang kanyang residence. Dito siya naninirahan. But she is not a Filipino in citizenship. Only a resident. Kaya nga, we have two types of a Filipino citizen. One, a resident citizen, and number two is a non-resident citizen. So ano ba sinasabi dito sa non-resident citizen? Number one, his or her physical presence abroad with a definite intention to reside. If the intention is to reside regardless, kaya number one yan eh. Number one, if it's mainly for work, yung work will last for more than a year, di ba? Or for studies, syempre, a degree will take more than a year or so. Then, he or she is qualified or to be considered as a non-resident citizen. So number two, leaves the Philippines during the taxable year to reside abroad. No, kasi if at that year, mainly more than a year during the taxable year, let's say, lumabas ka ng Pilipinas. Hindi ka lang basta lumabas ng Pilipinas. Baka kasi you went outside the Philippines, you leave the Philippines, you left the Philippines rather to travel. Then you have the intention to come back to the Philippines. Only just is short stay, no? Ikaw nasa ibang bansa. Pero if you leave the Philippines to reside abroad, then you're already considered a non-resident citizen. So I think halos same ng number one. Pero yung physical presence kasi, doon sa number one. Yun sa number two is just saying that if you left on that taxable year, kasi pwedeng umalis ka on last year, 2023. How about this year? Though lumipas na ang ating ITR deadline to file your income tax return. Do you still need to are you considered a non-resident on the last taxable year? If majority of your stay is outside the Philippines and you work and reside outside the Philippines, then you're considered non-resident citizen on 2023. Pero pag bumalik ka na dito and you have now the intention to stay in the Philippines, you're already considered as a resident citizen. Okay? Kasi kung medyo hindi siya pasok sa number one, number two, may quantifying ano tayo, rule when it comes to whether or not to consider classify whether you are a citizen, a resident citizen, or a non-resident citizen. Number three, Filipino citizen who shall have stayed outside the Philippines for 183 days or more. Always remember that term kasi kapag alien naman, meron tayong resident alien and non-resident alien at meron pa tayong two different types of non-resident alien. Kaya dito, mahalaga malaman natin na ang 183 days saan kaya nanggaling? We go to number 2. We always check the calendar years. Ilan ba ang or days rather. Calendar days, no? Calendar year ang gagamitin natin. So, ilan ng calendar days sa isang year? So, that is 365. It can be 366, but most of the time, it's 365. If you divide it by 2, then that's 182.5. If it's already 183, it's already more than a year. More than half a year, di ba? More than 6 months. Kaya ito yung pinagbasehan ng ating rule whether you will be a resident citizen or a non-resident citizen. Di ba? Okay. So, paano sir yung mga seafarer and seamen, no? Kasi nasa labas nga sila ng Pilipinas, though they are not in a country. Kasi pwede silang pumunta saan ba sila pupunta? Pwede silang pumunta sa Macau, pwede silang pumuntang Middle East, pumuntang United States, so different countries. But as long as they are in outside the Philippines, actually, OFWs, Overseas Filipino Workers, dati ang tawag sa kanya is Overseas Contract Workers. Kasi mainly our Filipinos working abroad are mainly in a contract. No, that's why it's called Overseas Contract Worker. Sa Overseas Contract Worker, um, kasama doon ang seafarer and seaman. As long as they are registered both in POEA. Ano ba yung POEA? The Philippine Overseas Employment Agency. Kasi sila, binibigyan sila ng tinatawag nating Overseas Employment Certificate. I think sana malinaw yon even though wala sa slide. Overseas Employment Certificate. So yun yung evidence that you have the intention to reside abroad, that your physical presence is needed on that country. Or if it's a seaman, no, you should be registered in the marina. No, at meron ring certificate na binibigay to seafarers. So they are all considered as non-resident citizen. Eh paano sir yung mga TNT? No. So kung nagtatago sila, it's already been illegal. But illegal to stay on that country, on that host country. Kasi remember, meron tayong mga tax treaties, no, between citizens of each country, like citizens of the United States and the citizens of the Philippines, no. So kapag sila illegally migrated or stayed in a certain country, pwedeng hindi sila may grant any benefits in a tax treaty, no. So medyo magulo yan, no? Pero nonetheless, sila ay consider as non-resident citizen. Okay. So we'll go to the next. So, laging huli ang title. Citizens and residents. Resident alien. So remember, if you're not a citizen, who are you? You're an alien. Alien. Nahirapan pa ako sa letter A. Alien, no? So, A, alien means Alice Guo. That's why it's a letter A. No. At least, hindi nyo na makakalimutan. Hindi foreigner. According to the tax code, any citizens which is not a Filipino citizen is called an alien. Right? So, an individual or alien whose residence is within the Philippines is called, and not a citizen is a resident alien. There's actually two qualifications for you to be classified as a resident alien. Number one, an alien who lives in the Philippines. Mahalaga yung lives. Ibig sabihin you have your residence. Meron kang ini-stayan. Hindi ka basta na ituloy lang sa hotel. Kasi if you stayed in a hotel for more than a month, edi medyo mahal. No, you may stay in an apartment or in a condominium. So you live and you don't have a definite intention. No, as to his stay. At yung iba requires extensive stay. It can be more or less a year. Okay? Walang definition of what is the required stay, as long as there may be required extensive stay or no definite intention as to his stay. No? Maybe yung mga ating mga ambassadors, no? Or yung mga exchange students, for example, if they will stay here for one school year or academic year, mainly yung mga professionals abroad that they need that a company here in the Philippines needs some technical expertise, then they're considered as a resident alien. Non-resident alien or NR. Okay, just a ano lang, correction. It should be non-resident alien, no? Non-resident alien. Alright? So NRA. Kasi I think nandun naman siya sa kabilang slide na it's called NRA. So number one, non-resident alien engaged in trade or business. So those who stayed more than 180 days and and earn business income in the Philippines. So, lahat nag-stay ng more than 180 days during the taxable year. So, remember, I think i-correct ko lang din to. This is based on business days. Okay? Pwede man ikong i-correct ko para correct natin siya. Para hindi siya nakakalito sa ating mga viewers. Di ba? Baka marami tayong mga viewers within and outside the Philippines. So, pwede kayong bumati. I think ito lang ang ating ano. Okay, start na tayo. So, I think kung kulang ang ating oras, then I'll send another invitation, no? Okay na? Okay. So, NRA, then it is actually kapag 365, that is a calendar year or 365 calendar days. Kapag 360, it is based on business days. Business days. That's why kung meron tayong quantifying rule between a non-resident citizen sa resident citizen, meron rin tayo dito just within non-resident alien, hindi sa resident alien. Yung resident alien, basta may whether or not nakatira siya dito, meron siyang intention to stay or requires extensive stay, resident alien na sila. Wala silang quantifying rule. Pwede silang more or less 1 year. Dito kasi sa non-resident alien, meron tayong quantifying rule. Same as resident citizen and non-resident citizen. Sa non-resident alien, engage in trade or business or NRA ETB. ETB, more than 180 days. And earn business income. So mahalaga yan. And earn business income. Kasi if you didn't earn business income here in the Philippines, you don't actually need to file an income tax return. Wala na ka namang kinita, therefore, wala ka dapat i-file na tax return. That's why, mahalaga yung emphasis na end. While on number 2, those who stayed 180 days or less or did not derive business income. So meaning to say, if even though you stayed more than 180 days pero wala kang business income, you're already considered not engaged in trade or business or NETB. Hindi mo na kailangan mag-file ng tax return if lang you don't derive any business income here in the Philippines. What if you have, pero you just stayed here less than 180 days? Then you're subject to a gross income tax of 25%. Anong meaning yan? Final tax on gross income. Mahalaga yan kasi mamaya on the next slide, malalaman natin na iba ang basis kapag ikaw ay resident citizen, uh, non-resident, ang tawag dito? Non-resident citizen, resident alien, and non-resident alien, which is nahahati pa sa dalawa. No? Kaya siya mahalagang hatiin sa dalawa kasi iba ang basis ng dalawang NRA. No? Basta remember, kapag sa citizen, as a Filipino citizen, you're considered resident citizen if you are stayed 180 days or more. Sakto, 183 days or more. Kasi yung 183 is already more than 1 year, more than half a year. Okay? More than half a year. Unlike dito kasi, ang 180 sakto. Kaya, 180 days or less, not engaged in trade or business. Kapag more than 180 days, it is engaged in trade or business. So, kailangan nyo malaman yung rationale. Hindi lang basta kailangan natin memoryahin. Yung isa, based on calendar days. Here, based on business days. 360 days, yung isa, 365 days. Okay? I think sana maliwanag tayo doon. Meron tayong chart o table. I'm not sure kung anong tawag natin pero let's see. Individual taxpayers. Okay. So sources of taxable income. So individual taxpayers, resident citizen, yun ang pinakauna. Then yung NRC, non-resident citizen, resident alien, non-resident alien engaged in trade or business, nasa iisa lang yan. At ang NRA, NETB, not engaged in trade or business, nakahiwalay. No? Para madali niyong tandaan. Kasi even though resident citizens, non-resident citizens, resident alien, and not non-resident aliens engaged in trade and business is based on net income, yung resident citizens is just within and without the Philippines. Lahat ng ay income niya dito at sa labas ng bansa ay kailangang i-declare sa kanyang income tax return or ITR. Unlike dun sa NRC, RA, NRA, ETB, though it is based on net taxable income, you just need to declare your income derived from sources within the Philippines. Katulad OFW ka, no? Kaya mahalaga if you have your overseas employment certificate. Kasi ito yung magpapatunay ng intention to stay abroad and to work there with your physical presence. So, if you derive income outside the Philippines or without the Philippines, you're an OFW, you don't need to declare here in the Philippines. You don't need to file your ITR. What if you're an OFW or a seafarer? Then, meron ka ditong negosyo o baka nagpapaupa ka. Let's say, an apartment, no? Papaupa ka. The building is the one you own, no? Ikaw yung nag-construct, ikaw rin yung may-ari. Then, most likely, the one you earn on that apartment rental is yours, no? Then, you should declare your income and file your income tax return here in the Philippines. Okay? Yung iba naman, kasi nakapangalan sa ibang kamag-anak, then if it's not the one that you own and you don't receive that earned income, then it's not yours. Pero if it's yours, then you should declare it even though you are physically in abroad, no? Kailangan pa rin siyang i-declare dito sa Pilipinas. Pero any income um, or sources without the Philippines, outside the Philippines, you don't need to declare here in the Philippines. Liwanag tayo. Even resident aliens and non-resident aliens engage in trader business only within the Philippines. Okay? Yung NRA and ETB, marami actually, katulad yung mga ating mga performers, professional entertainers, mga kilala natin mga celebrities outside the Philippines. Oh, 'di ba? They stayed here less than ilan bang um ang tawag dito? Ilang days sila dito mag-i-stay. It's already considered less than 180 days. 'Di ba? 180 days or less. Then they're considered as non-resident alien, not engaged in trade or business. Okay? Required sila mag-file. Pero that is based on final tax rate. Final. Which is fixed or proportional. Fixed. Or may iba tawag is flat. No? A flat tax rate of 25%. Okay? Kasi yung dalawa, I think yung dalawang classification na dito, pero actually yung apat na natitira, individual taxpayers, is graduated or progressive. I think in our last discussion, when it comes to progressive tax rate, has the tax base increases. Ano ba yung tax base natin dito? The net income. Always remember, the tax base is the net income. The tax base is yung ating base, how we compute the tax. So the tax base times the tax rate is our tax due or taxes you owe. O yung kailangan mong bayaran na buwis. Okay? So graduated rates natin is from 15% to 35%. Both, no? From resident citizen, non-resident citizen, resident alien, and non-resident alien engaged in trade and business. Always remember that meron tayong exemption on individuals, no? Which is the first 250,000 net taxable income. This is annual. So yung first 250,000 mo na kinita mo sa buong taon is exempted or at 0%, no? Kaya nga kapag ikaw, I think in our next recorded video o mainly of the record, kapag tayo magko-compute, especially those income that is 400,000 or less but more than 250,000, we need to deduct the 250,000 before we compute before we multiply the tax rate. Pwede siyang 15%. Kapag naman siya nag 400 to 800, 20%. Kapag 800 to 2 million, 30%. Or tama ba? Or 25% rather. 2 million to 8 million, 30%, and more than 8 million is 35%. Though wala pa akong papakita ditong taxable, that is just the concept on how you compute the tax for individuals. Medyo complicated at first, pero somehow along the way, especially kung kumikita ka, especially 'pag magko-compute tayo ng monthly or semi-monthly na sweldo natin, malalaman natin kung paano siya. At least kapag makakuha kayo ng payslip, hindi yung parang, paano kaya na-compute yung tax ko? So at least malalaman natin in the next coming recorded videos or off the record na discussion. Okay? Pero sa NRA and ETB, they are not qualified to have the 250,000 exemption. Kaya nga ang tawag sa kanya is final tax. Tandaan nyo, pag final tax, walang 250,000. Kasi this is mainly based on, ah, meron tayo ditong nalagpasan. Sources of taxable income or regular income lang. Kasi on our off the record discussion, meron tayong i-discuss regarding income subject to final tax, kaya walang 250,000, and income subject to capital gains tax. Ilang ano na tayo, less than a minute na. Okay? So next recorded video tayo, and I will share you the Zoom meeting link, no? For the next discussion for today. Okay? Medyo napahaba lang. Pero I think sana may natutunan kayo. Maybe before we start, pwede kayo mag-ask ng questions regarding the individual taxpayer classifications. Thank you and have a good day.